I'd love to have you kind of started out with a little bit of introduction. I heard you speak about cryptocurrency about a month and a half ago, and it was so pure, so clear. You broke down DeFi, crypto, blockchain. So I'm gonna let you kind of give like your intro, and maybe after you give a little bit about what the basis of crypto is, you could talk about some of the more exciting stuff. Like, what are you writing about nowadays? Because this is your job. You're writing about cryptocurrency.
Yeah, like of all the people involved in crypto, so many of the people are either involved as developers, and some people, I guess, they're just big fans, they're investors. But I happen to be a journalist background. I used to work for the Baltimore Sun many years ago. For the past 10 years, I've been working for a financial news site called Money Map Press, and the website is called moneymorning.com. And it was 10 years ago I discovered Bitcoin. And I wrote my first story about it. And the people I work with, of course, it's all very much oriented towards the stock market and that sort of thing. And most of the people were very dismissive of it at the time. They didn't think it was going anywhere, and it was. But I pursued it, and I actually mined Bitcoin for a while on my computer, which was possible back then. And over as time went on, of course, eventually, a couple years later, Bitcoin kind of got on the radar screen when it started to go up. And then I started to do more stories. They started to ask me to do stories on it. And I've been writing stories about Bitcoin and then Ethereum and then all the other cryptos that came along. I followed the space ever since. But yeah, I follow it sort of as a journalist slash analyst, see what's going on. It's be really interesting to see everything that's happened, how it's grown, and how just so many projects, so much going on, so much innovation. And even though people talked about how Bitcoin had the potential to disrupt the financial world, you didn't really think it was going to happen like back in 2011. But now you can see it happening, which to me is real exciting to see all that promise come to fruition. So, what else do you want me to talk?
So I think what would be great is right now you've been getting so busy writing all these articles, right? We were doing our call. You're like, yeah, people want me to write about SafeMoon, about altcoins. Like, maybe break down your thoughts on this massive boom in altcoins and talk about this crypto run that we're seeing, which is really unlike any previous time period.
Actually, it is a lot like previous time periods. It's just that the prices are so much higher this time. But in the past, the run ups were actually a lot bigger. If you go back to 2017 and then you go back, like a few years before that, we've had a series of these. It's Crypto has been very cyclical, and Bitcoin in particular, but most of the rest of the crypto world tends to follow Bitcoin. So what we've had is that every 4 years, they're basically triggered by the halvings when Bitcoin cuts its reward in half. And but what you've seen in the past is that you'll have these periods of incredible rallies where it's going up hundreds of percent, thousands of percent, and then it comes back down again. Then you have these bear markets. So what we're seeing now is actually, like probably like the fourth major, bull market for Bitcoin, and the other cryptos have more or less followed it. Although what we're seeing, super interesting, is that Ethereum is breaking off. We're not seeing the correlation that we'd seen for so long between Bitcoin and everything else. Ethereum in particular has really over the past year, but mostly even just the past few months, we're seeing Ethereum go its own way, and it's gone up a lot more. When Bitcoin starts to drop, a lot of times Ethereum doesn't, or it doesn't very much. So you see that people are viewing Ethereum sort of as its own thing. You can see it's got its own use case, it's got its own investment case, and you're seeing that happen right now. It's like Ethereum's had a great run, and it's not getting hit as much in the downturns. Yeah, that's one particular thing I've noticed. I do think Ethereum, I just wrote an article about this, is that I'd see Ethereum hitting at $10,000 by the end of this year. A lot of people are talking about that, and I definitely see it happening. There's so much built on top of Ethereum, the whole decentralized finance, the DeFi, and the NFTs that have gotten so much attention in the past few months. All that stuff really is built on Ethereum. And that's one reason why the price has gone up recently, and why I think it's going to keep going up for the rest of the year, is that there's all this economic activity built on top of Ethereum. And, all that money's coming in. It makes the Ethereum more valuable.
So last question I'll throw you right now, and then we'll continue to rotate. And if David Gokshin does come in and he's in here and I can't see him, if anyone could let me know, that'd be great, but I don't see him in here right now. And that is Dave, what cryptos do you currently own and how long do you plan on holding them?
Well, I've had my Bitcoin for a long time, and I don't have a ton of it, but I do have a few, and I haven't sold any of them, and I may not for a while. Now, maybe if it goes up to 100,000, which a lot of people think is going to happen sometime this year, maybe higher than that on this run, I might sell a couple of them, just because I'm getting closer to retirement. I'm not a young fellow like you are. But other than that, I actually, my number two is Ethereum. I acquired that some time ago, and I've actually added to that a little bit over time. Let's see, what else do I have? I've got Cardano, which is also something I bought like back in 2018 during the last run, because I did a story on it and I was very impressed with the way Cardano was being put together. And I do think that this year, maybe next year, as all the pieces fall into place, that's a crypto that's been put together very meticulously. It's like the code has been peer reviewed. They've had an extensive roadmap that they followed very closely. And it's got criticized. It hasn't gotten as much attention, I don't think, because people say, well, it can't do this and it can't do that. And then, well, that's because all this stuff has been worked on. But all the different modules have been worked on concurrently. So as they're putting this together, it's going to come together very quickly. It's going to reach the finish line a lot faster than I think people expect. And when all of the different features are enabled, I think that's when it's going to start to get a lot more attention. And I think even though it has gone up significantly over like the past 6 months or so, I think you're going to see it go a lot higher. So that's a big one I'm interested in. And another one, which I bought very recently, was Solana, which is also kind of a smart contract platform, similar to Ethereum in some ways. But what I like about it is that their focus is speed and capacity. That's one of the reasons Ethereum has had a lot of issues, because so much is built on it. It's become a victim of its own success. And so the guys who built Solana is like, well, let's build something that's much more scalable and much, much faster, can handle a lot more, like Visa style transactions. So that's another one that I got into, and that's also done very well this year. It's a relatively newer one. We'll see. That's my
Yeah.
main holdings. I've got a few more where I have like very small amounts of it. I do actually have a little bit of Doge, but I got that for free from a faucet back in like 2014 or something. But it's a very tiny amount.
So you actually convinced me to buy Solana too.
Oh yeah.
My last question I'll do, and then we're going to go to business of wealth, is what do you think about some of these ones where it seems like there's a lot of hype? So, for example, Shiba Inu
Okay.
coin, Sheba, which I tried to buy today, but I literally couldn't figure out how to buy. I mean, a pancake swap and crypto.com and a 3 to 5 day transfer and stuff. But that went from on the 20th on the 7th of this month, 3 days ago, it had a $0 market cap, according to this is
Mm.
coinmarketcap.com, and it is now nearing 14
Oh god.
billion.
Well, I think that falls into this category that we're seeing a lot of, where they're basically speculative coins. They're not coins like the ones I just talked about that have a very specific purpose. They were built for a reason. They've got a use case. They've got, strong developer teams. There's a lot of these newer cryptos, and I think it's money. There's money involved. People see opportunity, and people have figured out, I can create this coin, and if it gets traction, I can make a lot of money. It's not doesn't mean necessarily that they're scams, that these people are going to do a little rug pull and then you'll be left with nothing. although that's happening as well. There's a lot of those going on. You got to be very cautious with this kind of stuff. This one, is it Sheba Coin? It's it kind
Yeah.
of falls in that category. I know I haven't looked into it that much, but I have seen some stuff about it, and most of the knowledgeable people that I follow are not impressed by it. They're just like, this is not a good thing. Basically, although I will say that in the case of this and like this, Safe Moon is another one that's hugely popular. It's like they have these communities. It's actually a lot like Dogecoin. It's like there's no real fundamental case you can make for these cryptos, but they have these large communities that love them, that are hyping them all the time, and that are buying them and driving the price up. So you can kind of say, like, even though there's no fundamental reason to own it, you could still make money off of it if you can get in early enough. And then you just have to keep an eye on it, because at some point I think people will get bored of a lot of these coins, and then they're going to start selling them, and I think the price will eventually collapse on a lot of these guys. I don't see most of them surviving long term. But yeah, if you're a trader and you want to make money, and you can kind of keep tabs on, you have to keep close track of what's going on. There is money to be made in those coins.
Absolutely. Appreciate the insight, Dave. So, business of wealth. Let's go on to you. I know that you were doing some research today. I'm just going to kind of leave it open to you. What's your thoughts on crypto? What were you researching today? Are you invested? You can hit us with this all.
Yeah, sure. I'll tell a couple quick stories on, I guess, my background related to the space, which is still pretty thin, but, taking a few different angles on it lately. So I'm in my late 20s right now. And so it was kind of in college at a school with, a lot of really smart people from around the world. A few of which were really into bleeding edge cryptocurrencies in 2012, 2013, basically just Bitcoin, and starting to be a few others. And so really early on, I feel like I just got exposure before most people. I feel lucky for that. I also did not take advantage of it appropriately, which I've been trying to make up for since. One specific story that I just find funny and brutal at the same time is that one of my friends, I remember, wanted to take out of what he had been from Asia and moved to the United States for school, and wanted to be a really early miner. And he did some math to figure out that cheapest electricity, and I think it was the world, at least in the continent, was somewhere in Kansas. And he started like trying to figure out how to drop out of school and start mining a massive amount of Bitcoin in like probably 2012. He wanted me to do it with him, didn't do it. We'll always have that as like could have made hundreds of millions of dollars or more when I was a teenager experience. So I always just find that a funny one to go back to. But more recently, I've been, since about 2015 or 16, just kind of dollar cost averaging into Bitcoin. Basically bought in a little before the 2017 run up, 2016, 2017, slowed down a little bit, but I've never sold any. And then kind of got restarted a little more aggressively in 2019, definitely throughout 2020, especially when it crashed about a year ago, the beginning of the pandemic. And so have been kind of just stacking Bitcoin slowly on a pretty good schedule. And then more recently, have gotten some exposure to some of the DeFi swap situations. I have gotten a little started acquiring Sushi as well as Uni. Been a pretty decent user of Uniswap for a while. Plenty of problems with it, but it's been something that I see as still kind of the leader in that space. And then I guess most recently have been diving into some of these currencies that are designed, or tokens that are designed specifically around denominating certain types of like digital value. So the two that I've been really thinking about the most have been Basic Attention Token, which you can earn by basically watching ads. So it's going to be a unit that's used for the value of showing someone an ad. Something that obviously will continue to scale as the world continues to get more and more digital and faster and, more bite-sized type advertising. I find that one really interesting. Just in the last few weeks, I've been purchasing it. And a similar, different, but similar kind of mindset with Filecoin. Filecoin is somewhat similar in that it's trying to denominate a value for the value for digital file storage. And so I think there's going to be a really cool decentralized kind of war against AWS, Microsoft's cloud, and Google's cloud to empower everyone else to kind of build a trustless data center world. And Filecoin will be the token that runs that marketplace. And so I find that really interesting as an expansion area. So I've been getting a little more sophisticated as time has gone on. I'm still relatively a Bitcoin maximalist, I guess, if you wanted to put that label on it, but moving away pretty quickly as I learn about more in the space. And I guess the one other thing I'll mention is that I went pretty deep into NFTs over the past 6 months. The one that I've done the most of actually wasn't on Ethereum. It was actually a centralized NFT platform. NBA Top Shot has been, we've gotten a lot of press lately. I got in pretty early a few months ago. I've been a top, I guess, 1% or maybe 0.5% collector on NBA Top Shot. And they learned a lot about all the issues with NFTs, learned a lot about all the benefits with NFTs. And I will say I do not like that it is a centralized protocol and will probably not be investing in centralized projects where I can help it. I think there's going to be some interesting public, private, or I guess I should say like industry and crowd kind of collaborations. Like these companies I was just mentioning with building Filecoin and Basic Attention Token and ones like that. There tends to be a startup that's building a lot of it. But really they're trying to empower a decentralized community to continue to keep it up. So that's worked really well in software development. I think it'll work really well in crypto in the coming years. So that's kind of been my journey so far. I don't know if you want me to go deeper in any specific part of it or keep moving, but that's the background.
Yeah, absolutely. You can go deeper into specific areas. My first question for you, and then you can kind of take off from there, is ideally, what's your percent allocation of your wealth just towards crypto as a whole?
Yeah, that has continued to change naturally because crypto's been beating every other asset class, as well as the one that I've been adding the most to over the past couple of years. Today, it's probably right around 30% of my investment portfolio, but rapidly growing. I'd like to have it probably in the vicinity of 40 to 60% over the longer haul. I have some pretty standard financial instruments from my day job, my 401k, other index funds I've just been adding slowly over time. I work in the real estate industry, so have a good amount of exposure to real estate with my job and have in the past owned rental properties. Actually do not right now. But yeah, crypto will be probably in the vicinity of half of my portfolio in the coming years.
Yeah, it's half of my growth portfolio too. And then was there any other areas within maybe the NFTs or the altcoins or specific projects you're getting into that you would want to do a couple more minutes on?
Yeah, sure. I think I can talk a little bit about the issues that I've seen with some of the NFT projects. I've participated in a couple, like I said, NBA Top Shot, probably one of the most famous recent NFT projects, and definitely the one I've been the deepest in. We have to remember, I think I have to remember at least, that one of the most beautiful parts of cryptocurrency is the trustless nature and is the ability for, I guess, kind of the crowd, the world, the populace to figure out where it goes. And so I think some of these projects that are really likely to be rug pulls and really likely to, whether purposefully or just kind of structurally flawed, are going to be centralized, and they're going to be built by companies that are really good at telling a compelling story and are going to be a lot worse at growing at the same speed that other technologies will. So I think it makes a lot of sense that there's so much work being done on Ethereum and other decentralized protocols to empower ownership of NFTs. I know there's still a lot of issues with it, especially with gas fees being big on ETH right now. But I will say, having gone deeper than probably, I mean, I won't say almost anyone, but on Top Shot, I was definitely a top 1% user, and a few other platforms. I've probably been close to that. There's a lot of good about it. I mean, I definitely made money, but there's just a whole kind of structural issue when you have kind of a CEO or a leadership team that's going to be looking at different goals and different ROI and different, I guess, phasing than are the actual users, than are the actual participants. So I definitely have grown some caution there, and word to the wise, because I've gotten burned at different times on it. It's worked great at times too, but I think on NFTs you want to not get caught up quite so much in the press and and spend as much time as you can understanding what the long-term view of these projects are going to be. Because I think that's an area where a lot of people have lost recently.
Mm-hmm. Have you seen, this is a question from Official True Media, and he asked, have you seen Gary V's new NFT project that dropped 5 days ago?
I have
And
followed him on some of it. I don't know that specific one.
okay, his question was if you think that's how the future of those NFTs and influencers are going to go, but no worries if you haven't seen it.
I can speak generally to Gary Vee and how he's gotten involved in some of the other parts. As far as that project, I can't. But yeah, I think that's going to be the lines that are going to be drawn. I think some people are going to try to build their own NFTs, and maybe the right people can do it the right way. I think Gary Vee is an awesome participant in the world of online business, the world of marketing, the world of sports cards. So I think that collectively positions him really well to be an NFT, really the ultimate NFT influencer. But I do still think he would be smart to work in decentralized themes and I guess like public-private partnerships into his processes. I don't know exactly what the structure of this new project is, so I'll take a look and maybe tweet about it the next couple of days. Thanks for letting me know.
Yeah, of course. Sounds good. Just for everybody that's in here, I see we're coming up on about 200 people, just being transparent. My name is Gav Blacksberg, and I am the COO at Wolf Financial. Wolf Financial, of course, being the company. I have a whole team of people behind me that are building, so I'm lucky that I get to be on Twitter all day. My job is just to tweet and create content on all of our social medias. So I love hosting spaces. I have a few more this week, and then I'll be getting a second vaccine shot and moving at the end of the week. So maybe a little bit busy then, but we'll be doing my best to host a ton of spaces with really all the big people. I'm actually working with Twitter Spaces on a space that's going to be coming out. So I'll be collaborating with Twitter on that. I've had multiple conversations. So would love to just have everybody, join up with the Wolf Pack and continue to add value to that. And big thank you to all the listeners who are in here. You make it, really worthwhile the time to put these together. It's a massive time suck. I spent like 70 hours on Twitter last week, but it was so worth it to see, the community grow and the support and the love from it. So thank you to everyone. Now I would love to go over to Stock Market News, who we've been chatting a bunch. Super helpful and grateful to have you on here. And it sounds like we're going to be doing a few more spaces together. So take it away, bro.
Yeah, man, we got some cool stuff coming in the background. We've been talking that hopefully another spaces later this week coming with us in it. But pretty much I'll just talk quickly about my time in crypto. I really got into it back after the last bull run in 2017, 2018. So I came in right around after that. I had known about it for a little bit before, but never really invested. The majority of my my crypto is in Ethereum and Bitcoin. Ethereum is definitely my largest holding, and especially over the last couple of weeks, it has continued to get even more of a larger percentage. So I calculated a couple days ago, so it could be a little bit off right now. I want to say it was something like 55% in Ethereum and like 25-30% in Bitcoin, and the rest of that below that is a mix up of a lot of random stuff in there. But I have semi-major positions or smaller major positions, smaller significant positions, I'll say, in Binance Coin and Dogecoin. So I have, I would say definitely if I was going to label myself anything in crypto, I would say I'm an Ethereum maximalist. I believe that Ethereum really kind of represents crypto to me, and coming from the stock market, it really was the easiest to understand and explain to other people, explain to myself to get into that, Ethereum really is the what you can build on it and the underlying projects. I have heard a little bit about Solana, which I know was talked about earlier, and some people that I trust in the space have recommended it. So I'll definitely something I'm looking more into. There's always that one Ethereum killer that pops up, and Ethereum's still here, so we know how that's done. But you got to invest in it, keep doing it, and spread it around there. Yeah. Want to know any questions?
Absolutely. Yeah, maybe you can talk to the why you prefer to have like because you're a big stock guy, right? You're putting out news on the stock market all the time. You're talking about value, you're talking about growth. What's the allure to you to crypto? To put, like I don't know what exactly your allocation is, from your net worth. I have a very large allocation of crypto personally. To you, being so focused on the stock market and building a whole entire really a profile around it, what's the allure to crypto?
Yeah, so for me, I kind of use crypto as like an extension of my stock portfolio. I am in about total, I want to say it could be a little bit more right now with how crypto and how stocks have been doing, but I want to say it's about 30% is in crypto. My stock portfolio is really built on, long term, large, blue chip. I don't want to even, maybe even not blue chips, but like the Apples, the Amazons, the Facebook, Nvidia. My portfolio is really kind of doesn't have much exposure to those high flying, whatever names that have been going off and actually have been really getting slammed recently. So the only really exposure I haven't are in, I own a bunch of positions towards the bottom of my portfolio. So I really kind of use crypto as the risk on part of my portfolio. Wolf, as you say, in like your growth or whatever portfolio, it's 50%. That's kind of how I'm using it. And, my real allure to crypto kind of is the underlying blockchain technology, how it is just another growth area. If maybe it even is just like another section of the stock market or whatever, like there's all these sectors that are really interesting, and Bitcoin crypto is one that really caught my eye early and kind of has kept me there. There's a couple others, I would say maybe in similar vein, whether it's the cannabis stocks or gaming stocks or whatever, but crypto still has definitely fit in that category, but it's kind of stood out.
And then tell me, what's your thoughts on these past couple weeks? I know that you own some Doge. I own some Doge as well. I got a few thousand coins. At one point, I had like 40, 50,000 coins, but we all sold too early, so that is what it is. Talk to me about your thoughts about this, Doge run, Doge craze. It's been insane, right? There's a massive community surrounding it. In my eyes, that community doesn't seem to be going anywhere anytime soon. Even, like if Doge was to go down like 30 cents, whatever, I still see the community there, like waiting for it to come back, buying more, posting that. So maybe you could talk to that.
Yeah, so pretty much just quickly where I'm at with Doge. I bought in January. I bought in at around 1 cent and then 3 cents. Um, I held since then and then started selling in April a little bit. I I am more or less where I'm at with Dogecoin. I would say that I agree with you that I don't think these people are going to go away so quickly. I tend to point at GameStop, and for me, a big number there has been 150, kind of holding that mark. And, it broke below it today in this huge sell off, and maybe that's a hint for breaking my own thing, but we'll see how that goes moving forward. But, the community of Dogecoin has grown significantly. I try to not look at the price as much as what's happening, the underlying acceptance of it. What I will say is I think there is an underlying value to Doge. There's an underlying project there, and there is, a future. I don't know if the future could be priced in at is, right place for it right now is 40 cents. It seems like we had this huge run up, and we might see another leg up. Complete transparency, I have about, I don't know how much I have right now, but I sold a good amount. If I bought 10,000 Dogecoin, I still hold about 8,000 of it. What I'll say is if it continues to go higher, if it breaks back above all time highs, I'll continue to sell slowly. If it keeps going down, until we get, I'm just going to keep holding. Maybe if we break below a cent, then I'm worried, but I still got a lot of water below me. What I would say to anyone who bought higher, there's I feel like there's a couple different types of people who are buying it. But if you are someone who is just buying to get the short-term momentum play, maybe there's a swing back to a dollar, hopefully. I'm here hoping for it. It was really great for my account, but you never know if that's going to happen. So that type of person, maybe you're underwater and I don't have much advice for you. But if you're someone who really found Doge at the top, believes in it, and really enjoys what you're seeing, that's this, maybe not right now, but you got to buy the dip when it happens or whatever at the right price is and hope that the community can grow for the long term. I think that I'm a big believer that the winners in all these things are the long-term holders, the long-term investors, and not the short-term traders. So this price appreciation is really awesome for the community. It has helped grow it a lot, and it might come in, but I will say I definitely do believe that Dogecoin has a good chance that after a much-needed pullback comes, that it could be here for the future and can hold where it is.
Love the insight. So I'm going to go to our fourth speaker, which is Twitter investors, and then after that, I might take some questions from the audience. Might bring some people up. Don't always do it too often, but I see a few that I know that are requesting, so I might do that. But Twitter investors, man, what's going on? What's been the thoughts on crypto? I know that you've had a lot of thoughts on it.
Can you kind of hear me okay? Some of the other speakers that were going in and
Yeah,
out kind of it.
we can hear you
Okay.
fine.
Yeah, I guess a little bit about my background. I've been in crypto since about 2014, started a company in the space not too long ago as well, and now I just kind of shitpost and post memes on this account.
Makes sense. So, is he still talking?
No,
I can't tell if he
no, I
stopped.
thought you were gonna
Okay,
ask a
cool.
question.
Oh yeah, the quick intro I hear. So you're pretty involved with crypto advising almost, right?
Yes, I do, and like I have a number of different kind of connections in the space that I either advise or kind of help other people with, and then I'll most likely get a job soon in the space as well. So we'll see.
So if you were to go into, crypto advising or work in this space, what would that mean? What would you be doing?
So far, it's had a lot to do with like how companies or specific influencers are kind of targeting their audience, um, um, but also how to grow extremely fast. Um, uh, with my previous kind of company, that was kind of my main focus, and what I continue to focus on is just growing as fast as possible. And so that's what people, I guess, come to me for is just like how to grow their audience or how to pick up the most audience or signups.
Got it. Got it. So you've been in a crazy amount of crypto spaces over the
Yeah,
last few weeks. I
either
mean, you're
hosting
you're
or
living on
being.
these. Yeah, like you're hosting spaces all times of the day. What have you picked up just I guess about crypto in general, the sentiment, the community? Like what have been the takeaways?
It's hard because it's like almost all over the place. Like I've held, I think earlier last week, we held a bunch and we were talking about how Doge was completely kind of taking over all of social media, and it was beating Bitcoin, it was beating Ethereum in terms of mentions. We talked about that with Lunar Crush, love that company. And it was interesting to see how over the week, obviously, I think it was like Tuesday. It was like a high. Like it hit, it hit pretty high, and then also like the mentions were at the top, and it was beating Bitcoin on every single metric. And then as the week kind of went on, it almost like flattened out and actually trended kind of down until we saw SNL, and then we all kind of saw what happened on SNL. So it was interesting to see the discussions kind of change from Tuesday, I think was the highest, and then from there it went down almost like a repeat of like 420-ish.
Right, right, kind of that slingshot
Yeah.
effect. So maybe can you talk to which cryptos you own, kind of maybe some of the allocations into
Yeah.
why?
So
Talk to which cryptos you own, kind of maybe some of the allocations into
yeah.
why.
So the majority of my stuff is in Bitcoin right now. I I I have my different opinions on Ethereum, so I don't have any in that. I owned a little bit. I owned about like I don't know. I went like $150 for Doge on I think Tuesday and sold. I sold it at like 68 cents. So I was like, whatever, I'm done here. Made like 5 to 10% over it. And then yeah, it's mostly Bitcoin right now, and there's some other shit coins that I've added, but I don't really have any hope for them.
So do you have any plans on playing with any of these altcoins?
No, I actually really don't. I see sometimes I see the potential for them and I see the use cases, but I don't currently plan on investing them in them.
Yeah, I'll say I personally, I'm open to throwing a little boomer bust
Yeah,
money. To me, I don't see all of them as a crypto almost. I see them as like a lottery ticket,
right.
right? It's like people go and they pay $5 and they get a lottery ticket and they scratch it off and maybe they win
Yeah,
something
I mean,
and maybe they
and I
don't.
think also too, like what I was seeing in these spaces is a lot of times is people are coming at it in the sense that like they're a part of the community, or like it's not about the money, it's about the community. And I think ultimately I don't think people should look at it like that. I think if you're going to do that, then just don't put any money into it. And I think people are getting way too invested in it and they think that they're doing it for the community, but you're not going to be there for the community when you're literally broke and trying to find a job. So uh, I just think the whole community aspect is great, and be a part of the community, be a part of Reddit, but just don't put your whole net worth into it. You can just have a little bit on the sideline and still be active in the community. Um, like I am. I mean, even if I'm just doing memes about both sides, whether it's going up or down, I don't really have a lot of skin in the game. So that's what I would say to kind of that kind of stuff. This isn't even just for
Absolutely.
Doge. I mean, it's just for every single community. Like if you feel so strongly about it, stick in the community maybe for a while, see a boomer bust cycle, and then kind of go from there.
Absolutely. All right, Amish, I just brought you up. You got any thoughts? You got a question?
No, I'm just hanging out, listening to Twitter.
Sounds good. Sounds good, man. Maybe you want to chat for just a second as to which cryptos you own and
I
why?
actually just got my first crypto. I think it was like a couple months ago. I actually had no intention of buying crypto, and I still really don't. I just happened to have like $30 that was sitting in a Coinbase account that I somehow got in there, and I didn't really know how. So I just bought Cardano with it, and yeah, that's probably going to be the only crypto exposure I'll ever have.
Fair enough. I like it. All right, official True Media. I brought you up, man. You got another question? See if
Hey, how's it
you've
going?
got one. Doing good, man. You got any questions for us?
No, I was just talking about the NFT drop from Gary V was really, really interesting. Um, he's basically explaining that he's giving his personal time within each and every NFT. So depending on what it is, one's to for say, and it, of course it's only for his community type thing, but one's to go bowling. One is one-on-one conference time a few times a year. Um, just things like that, where he's actually, instead of giving value for like whatever the art is or the collectible, he's literally just like giving his time throughout each and every NFT. And I just thought that was a very interesting way for influencers. And I personally think we're going to start seeing a lot of it.
So,
I
Dave, you had some really cool thoughts on NFTs. You thought that, once this craze settles down, there's a ton of use cases for them. How do they factor into the world of, influencers and celebrities?
Well, I think they're probably doing more harm than good at this point because that's what's part of this whole sensation.
I,
All these
I
people
would
getting
agree as well,
involved,
David.
the high prices. I think that the real use cases that are going to emerge from this are going to be, like especially like ownership of artwork and stuff, and how people who make music and the artists who are creating these various works of art. It's a great way for them to get paid. It's always been kind of an issue, especially in the music world, is how do these artists get paid fairly instead of getting a small amount while all these middlemen take most of the money. When you have all these people, these various celebrities jump in, and then you have all their fans come in, and they don't really understand what this is all about, and then you end up with these huge prices, for these NFTs that are probably way, way overvalued. And what you're already seeing to some extent is some of the stuff that went for high prices. When you look at them in the resale markets, the prices are already going down. People aren't able to get the same amount. It's because it was just overhyped. But once all this fades away, I think people will see that the NFTs really do have a great use case. And hopefully, if things do get for some of this in some areas of the NFT, that it doesn't give it such a bad reputation that the real positive uses for it don't get thrown out, because sometimes that happens. Things get out of control and then it goes bad, and then everybody says, well, let's forget about that because that was a bad thing. And I'm worried that might happen, or at least it might delay people using NFTs for the things that it could really do a lot of good.
I can kind of speak. I have probably a similar kind of view as you, David. I think to add on to Biz Wealth kind of point, I personally think that like NBA Top Shot kind of stuff. You look at probably like the top 1% creators of NFTs that are the most popular. You got like Beeple and you got CryptoPunks. I personally think that those will do well. I think when you look at the resale market, they'll probably do well. But my problem is that there's these multiples on these NFTs that's just from some random dude, Big D 69 on OpenSea, and you're paying thousands to hundreds of thousands to millions of dollars for your NFT. My problem with that is like the next person that's going to come and see or going to possibly buy that is like they don't know who that person is, and that's what I feel like gives art the value is. You know what I mean? You look at the private art markets today, or just art markets in general. You know who Van Gogh is. You know the history behind it, but you don't know who Big D 69 is, and like, but you maybe know who Beeple is. But even then, like, how many people really know who Beeple is, and how many people really are going to say that's something that's super a prized possession? And the next time someone goes and tries to resell it, it's going to be at double or triple the price of what it was before. I just think in general, the NFT market is overvalued. And NBA Top Shot stuff, I see the value in stuff like that, almost like sports cards. I see it. I see the rarity kind of stuff there. But the other maybe 90% of the market is just outrageous.
Yeah, that's kind of exactly the point I was making. I'm glad that you came back over to that too. One thing that I do think is interesting in NFTs that I don't think anyone's quite mentioned yet. And I think there'll be a whole series of kind of startup companies and probably decentralized efforts that focus on this is going to be kind of bolting on real world experiences with NFTs. Especially in a world where most of the flexing, most of the status items are.
Hey, Biz.
Yeah.
Sorry to cut you off. I guess Wolf got kicked, so it might end in a second.
Okay, people are coming. All right, let's give it 1 second. People are coming back in.
The not financial advice thing is like honestly with Twitter and all like the section whatever it is, a lot of what you say is protected. It's really kind of just like more of a protection thing. Probably most of the time it's not needed, but hey, it's probably good that it's there.
That was my question. Yeah, thanks.
Saying not financial advice
I just put it up as
in
a
your
joke,
bio
if I'm being honest.
has, yeah, I'm not a
I
lawyer,
wasn't sure
but
if it was a real legal thing or what the deal was, because like I know different countries have different regulations.
yeah,
So
real quick
when I was-
to everybody
go.
who's in here, real quick, if everyone could just share out this link one more time. Space has crashed, but we're back, something like that, and then it'd be great. What's up, stock market news?
So when I was studying to like be a financial advisor, I had to like take a lot of the Series 7 and look at a lot of those tests. And really the only restrictions, the only thing they really care about is for people in the business. Anyone shit posting on Twitter or whatever like that, it's kind of taken like that. But once you put your name behind something or a company, that's when it starts to have problems.
That makes sense. Yeah.
I saw Parrot was in here before. Too bad
I guess
that
try and sell a product as well. Like once you try and put your name and try to sell a product, then obviously.
No, yeah, definitely. That's a good point.
NFA.
What do you think, Dave?
Well, in our business, we're like a financial newsletter business. And we have to be careful that we're not giving advice to individuals because that's against the rules because we're not, licensed to do it. But we have all of our guys. We write our articles where we tell people what we think about the markets and about stocks we like and stocks we hate, as well as cryptos. And as long as you can tell a bunch of people. When we have newsletters, we put out emails that we have subscribers. People pay for this. They subscribe to it, and as long as you're sending it out to large numbers of people and not just one person, one on one, it's legal. This is an exception that you have within the financial newsletter world. And I would imagine that in a situation like this, where you're inviting the public in, and you have various people, anybody can listen to this, that because you're not giving advice to an individual, that it would be fine.
Can we acknowledge that Greg got followed by Dorsey today? Congrats, man.
That is insane.
Did he actually though?
He did. I went and checked it.
What the? Did you take a screenshot?
I saw the screenshot.
You can click in his followers, and follows it's going to pop up.
It's only real once Elon Musk follows him, though.
So Greg, if you want to speak on it, Greg, speak on it.
Oh yeah, good luck with that. Yeah.
Show us your faucet again.
No, I will get that. All right. Well, let's wrap it back. So Matt, you're here. You're in the crypto space. You joined up. We were all chatting about cryptos we owned, our thoughts on cryptos in the future. I don't know if I've asked you this before, but which cryptos do you own? Kind of a little bit of allocation-ish, and why?
As of right now, I only own Bitcoin and Ethereum, kind of because I actually use it as a currency, kind of to do payments for international payments. But other than that, I don't use cryptocurrency as an investment tool. I still don't see it as an investment tool. But I think if we get back to its roots and origins as using it as a currency, it can go somewhere for the investors.
Also, to speakers up here, I'm going to be scrolling through some people. I guess we'll just take some rapid fire questions. So don't be offended if I remove anyone because I don't have enough space. But I'm bringing up John W. Rich Jr. because I thought that was a pretty funny one. I don't know if it says he's the firstborn. Oh, I don't know. Is he in here? In the meantime, all right, Hipster, I got you up as a speaker finally. I sent the request like 6 times. Dude, you got the laser eyes. It's been a little while since we talked crypto. Crypto's been going nuts. We've had all these altcoins. What's been going on? Have you been buying anything?
Oh, 100%. I think the question is, what have I not been buying? I think firstly, like many mentioned, this is not my net worth. It's a very small portion. And basically, I would say I'm gambling for the most part. Like you mentioned, buy a lottery ticket, take the ride, right? But most of what I have is in Bitcoin. Kind of accidentally, I bought back in March last year a fair amount, and it just grew so wildly that I own a good portion by accident, I guess I would say. And so it's kind of an investment. The rest of it, I own a little bit of Ethereum, a little bit of Litecoin, a little bit of almost everything. I kind of like looking for the competitors of Ethereum, Cardano, Algo, looking to own some Solana in the future. Things like that. But again, I think 100% gambles. I think anytime you're in a space that's this new, like we don't know where it's going to end up. We don't know what use cases there are. I know many mentioned NFTs. I think right now it's some crazy valuations, but we don't know where it winds up in the future. So it's just exciting to be a part of. And I think for me, I like to own a little bit. Once you own a little bit, you want to learn. You want to see what you own because you have some stake in it. So I'm just kind of throwing little flyers out there.
So I think you also use crypto as a way to earn interest, right?
Yep, totally.
Yeah, maybe you want to speak about that because you're always posting your crypto interest payments that you're getting, I believe, through Celsius.
Honestly, that's what got me into it. I like owning things that pay me money, right? Obviously, dividends, things like that. And so I really was never into crypto, but the second I found out, hey, I can buy some Bitcoin and I can make 6% on it or whatever that looks like, suddenly I was in the game and I wanted to play.
Can you talk more about how that works?
Yeah, so basically they're exchanges that loan your crypto out, similar to a bank. It's not FDIC insured, and I know the hardcore crypto people in here will say, not your keys, not your cheese, as they like to say, not your keys, not your coin. And so basically if you're putting it on these exchanges, you don't own that crypto. They essentially are holding it and owning it for you. You can certainly lose it. But to me, making 6% was worth it. I think last year I made almost $2,000, over $2,000, just with crypto, holding it in those accounts. So that's real money. You can say, yeah, you're risking it, which is true. But if I'm making several $1,000s, risking it, to me, that's a worthy risk.
Is that staking? Is that what staking is?
No, it's not staking. They basically loan it out and get a return for those loans, and then they pay you back in interest. I'm sure several of these exchanges are inflated. They've got BlockFi Zach is pretty active in the community. So is the CEO of Celsius, and so I feel pretty confident in those two. But there's a ton out there that are paying some crazy interest rates. I don't think it'll last, so I'm trying to take advantage of it while I can. But I also think you got to do your due diligence on the companies and make sure the interest they're giving you is something they can afford to pay, and sustainable.
Have you ever
Now,
dropped
did
out
you
of something
pay?
really quickly?
What
Sorry.
do you mean?
Like, you seem to own a lot of different ones. Was there ever a time where you lost faith in something you had and completely got out of it?
Oh, totally with Dogecoin. So I bought it last year, probably July. I don't remember when the first pump of
With
Dogecoin was
BitConnect.
last year, but I was super excited about it. And of course, I lost money. I think I put 15 bucks in. It was like 5,000 coins or something, and then I sold it for like $11 when it went down. And now I look at it and I'm like, those 5,000 coins would be worth, I don't know, $2,000, somewhere in that range. So I just decided from now on, if I buy a alternative coin, I'm just going to hold it, consider it a lottery ticket. If I lose all my money, I lose all my money. But, 2 years from now, you have no idea where these could be. I don't want to sell at a loss anymore when this is just kind of fun money.
What's that,
So,
Greg?
yeah, I was gonna say, Greg, you making some Morse code over there? Little tap tap. Okay, is what it is. I'll take what I can get. Business famous. Thank you for joining us.
Hey, what's up, everyone?
Doing well, man. So, any? I know that I feel like you own some crypto, right?
I have a long and complicated adversarial relationship with crypto.
Oh, do tell.
Yeah, let's hear it.
I first learned about Bitcoin when it was like $60 a Bitcoin, and I was like, "What the hell is this nonsense? And how is that worth $60?" And I yeah, just kind of salty about like not investing in it. Like this had to be like 2013 or 14, and I don't know. Yeah, just kind of missed out on it for the most part, and then kind of got back into it. And now I'm looking at like just all these shit coins that have run. And I was just DMing with a group a few minutes ago about somebody mentioned a Sheba coin to me, or a Akita coin to me like 3 days ago, and I looked at it today. It was up 180%. Like, what is this craziness? So right now, I mean, I have a little Bitcoin, I have a little Ethereum, but that's my extent of it right now. I mean, I'm typically when I buy any crypto, that's like a huge top signal. So I just kind of I've not had good luck with it. But it's a super interesting kind of space to me.
Imagine a future where you're selling covered calls on crypto.
the whole
That's
thing
what I'm
that Jeremy
talking
does
about.
with earning interest on crypto is kind of wild, and I don't completely understand it, but it's pretty cool that you can do that.
Oh, by the way, Greg said we missed our chance. He didn't realize his mic was off, and if we hadn't been talking, we would have heard him. So, you win some, you lose some. All right. You're right. It is what it is. Biz, or any of my main speakers, I want to kind of throw it back to y'all real quick with David. You kind of had me like after our pod, I'm like feeling like, my Bitcoin's like a 20-year hold for me now, 20, 30-year hold. And that was because of this idea that it could hit scarcity because around 2140 is when I believe all of the coin is going to be mined. The last 100 years are pretty much negligible. Can you talk about coins that have scarcity versus coins that don't, and how that factors in a price for you?
Well, I mean, it has a big impact on the price. I mean, that's one reason why Bitcoin is so high, is because it has that cap on it. Plus, we know that a lot of those coins are lost, like millions of them. Probably most, if not all, of the ones that Satoshi mined and a bunch of other people who were doing it early on. A lot of these coins, because you can see it on the blockchain, you can see they haven't moved in many years, and so that means your cap is even lower. So that helps with the scarcity aspect of it. Plus, you're seeing the demand. I mean, it's always a factor of supply and demand, and we're seeing these, institutional investors come in. So that's sort of like where Bitcoin is. It's kind of separate, but there's other coins that also, if you look, if you're on Coin Market Cap, you can kind of check all that stuff out. You can see that the coins that have the smaller number of coins, the smaller the supply, usually the bigger the price. I mean, it depends on the individual coin, but you'll also notice that that a lot of these coins that have huge supply, they're the ones that have the prices that are down lower. But it all kinds of works out because, you look at the market cap, that's kind of like the equalizer. You want to see how much money's gone into this coin as opposed to what the price of the coin is. That kind of helps you figure out how much value is in there, like what's really going on, how many people have really invested in this thing, how much money has gone into this. Because every single one is different, and you can obviously check it out. And I recommend that people do, if you start to get into crypto investing, look at places where you can get that kind of information, like Coin Market Cap, because you don't just want to look at a coin and be like, oh, this is really cheap, I'm going to make a ton of money because it's going to go, if it's like 2 cents and you think it's going to go to $1,000, well, it's probably not, because it would be like worth more than the U.S. economy, depending on the supply.
Got it. Yeah, that makes sense. All right, real quick, I brought up Kurang. You have Bitcoin in your profile. What are your thoughts on crypto? If you could speak. No worries. If not.
What was your question?
Hello.
What was your question?
Oh, I saw you have Bitcoin in your bio. Just wanted to hear your thoughts on crypto and, what percentage of your worth you allocate to crypto and why.
What percentage am I worth? I'd probably say the majority of it. Usually I used to be invested in the equities market. So why? I've just been having lots of computer issues, and then I got a letter from Schwab not long ago, which was one of my brokerages, that somebody had been trying to access my account multiple times. So, which ones have I invested in? I'd started investing in Bitcoin back in 2012. And then at that time, I just, was like, hey, let's throw some money at something. The technology behind it seems cool. Nobody else had technology behind it seems cool. Nobody else had anything, basically having a background in accounting, like basically a third layer to confirm like a. So then I bought some Ethereum and kind of kept away from it for a while. It developed into obviously DeFi, and then DeFi 2.0, DeFi 3.0 that I guess is in development currently, and altcoins. So I guess I'd say Cardano, man. Cardano seems like it's going to smart contracts. I have oracles, specifically Chainlink. I do have some band protocol. Monero is a good one. Hopefully people, I'm not saying not to go spend your Bitcoin or not, but I would not spend your Bitcoin. I would transfer it, into other types of currency or cryptocurrency. You can wrap your Bitcoin. I don't know if people know how to do that, and that lets it operate on Ethereum's blockchain. So Monero's how I would spend my money. And then you have another one that's basically strong on privacy protocol. It's called Pirate. So it's kind of the little ticker or the abbreviation is R, like a pirate says R. You have some other ones that are out there. Solana seems to have a lot of hope. Serum is what operates on Solana's blockchain. I like Polkadot. Polkadot, they have a parachain called ChainX, PCX, that allows it to interoperate or have interoperability with basically everything. There's a new one that I've been watching, RIF. So that's the third layer on Bitcoin's blockchain.
Cool.
I'm sure everybody's heard of Dogecoin. I don't really have any
Never heard of
opinion.
it.
I don't really have any opinion of it. It doesn't have a utility, so I think it's just more of a gag, if you want to call it. I'm not going to talk negative about it because obviously people do have a demand for it, but I would say if you're looking to invest or trade, that those are two different mindsets, and you would want to make sure that you do differentiate. We don't know which ones are going to be in the future and which ones are not going to be around. The majority, from what I can tell, that they fall off the map if they don't have good, basically presence, trading volume. So there's a couple of good ones out there, but I would say over 50% is still in Bitcoin. About 30 is in Ethereum, to answer your question overall. And about the other 20% are in the altcoins or the DeFi projects.
Cool. Awesome. All right. I thank you, Karan. I don't want to keep everyone too late. So what I'm going to do is I brought up one more person, which is Hunter, and then I'm going to let my planned speakers kind of give some closing remarks. And then, I'm sure there'll be more spaces tonight. I'm sure we'll be back on. But Hunter, first off, can you hear us? Can you speak?
Hey guys, I can hear you.
Hey man, so your bio looks pretty cool. You're into crypto, stocks, investing, cool shit. You
Yes,
had a
sir.
cool quote in the background. Maybe talk with us a little bit about, you've been listening, any thoughts that have come up, you requested to come up. What do you want to say?
Yeah, I think Kurang, if I'm saying it right. If not, I apologize. But some of those cryptos that he was touching on were solid picks. As basically, when I like to look into, let's say, a specific crypto, is instead of betting on, let's say, one crypto, one chain, it's always better to bet on the race itself instead of a certain horse, is what I like to say. So talking about Solana, Polkadot, Atom, stuff like that, or like Ethereum, let's say, basically is you're basically betting on tons of other projects themselves as you're betting on the ecosystem. So that's something I thought was super great for all the people listening in here. And also, I heard you guys talk about Chainlink, which is definitely one of my biggest holdings. And I'm not sure if anyone in here has heard of this, but I think after this, everyone in this chat is probably going to go buy some, in my opinion. And I don't know if you guys have heard of it, but it's called Charlie 3, and it is Cardano's decentralized oracle that has just come out, and the project's rolling out, and it's sitting around at $3. So it's a great time to buy in, check out the project, and basically this will be the chain link of Cardano. So just want to share that with you guys.
So maybe talk for another minute or so
Okay.
on that Charlie 3. Is that what you said it's called?
Yes, it's charlie3.io is the
And
website.
where did you buy that?
I bought it on Uniswap.
Is it on Blockfolio? Do you know?
That's a great question. I'm not exactly sure yet.
Okay,
But
fair
I
enough.
just came across the coin 2 nights ago, as all day, every day, I'm doing research, looking up good projects, and I love the Oracle aspect. So I don't know a ton about it. I'm still doing my own research, but never hurts to share, projects with other people. But yeah.
Cool. Well, appreciate it. Well, shout out to Hunter for coming up and teaching us something new. Y'all should check him out. Nice to meet you.
Thank you again for letting me speak. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. I'm glad tonight everyone who came up was very pleasant and normal and educational. I don't usually bring up too many speakers, but this was a fun one. I'm going to let my planned speakers kind of give some closing remarks. So we'll work kind of back in order. So Twitter, we'll start with you. Anything that you would like to, close off with? Any advice for the crypto investors out there? Just thoughts in general?
Yeah, have fun. I don't know if you should buy the Doge dip or not, but we'll see going forward. I'll probably have a lot more spaces as well, either tonight or over the next week. And yeah, have a good night.
Yes, sir. Yeah, me and Twitter investors, dynamic duo out here. So make sure y'all are joining up and following the two of us. We'll be basically between the two of us, you're guaranteed a space pretty much 24/7. So don't even trip, dog, as they say in Rick and Morty. All right, stock market news. I'm rolling to you.
Love Rick and Morty, great reference. So just quick comments, what I'm thinking. I'm personally still supremely confident. I'll say in Ethereum first, but Ethereum and Bitcoin. Everything else below it, wouldn't surprise me if it was away. So, definitely stay in your own risk below that. And then also one thing that happened, it's definitely crypto related, but while we were talking, Kathy Wood actually released her buys and sells for the day, sorry. And they actually bought Coinbase today. So it's a little bit of a crypto play there.
Sweet, sweet. Yeah, definitely going to check that out. For anyone who's unfamiliar, Stock Market News runs also a really cool ARKK account. What's that username?
ARKK Daily.
ARKK Daily. Yeah, this man has not just built up one crazy large account, but multiple. Probably there's more. I think you have a Buzz one too, right?
Yeah, that one hasn't gotten much traction. Buzz hasn't taken off yet, but hey, I'm still confident. We got time.
Yeah, he's got some really cool stuff. So definitely go ahead and check him out. Also, thanks to everyone who's been giving me some follows out here today. I was feeling not so great today, but wanted to put together this space and make sure that everyone got some good stuff. I'm on the road to 10K, as they say, 11 off from 9K. So really appreciate everyone that's joining up. Biz of Wealth, let's go to you.
All right, thanks. Yeah, thanks for hosting this. This is actually my first space I've been on. I've used Clubhouse a good amount, but this is much better when it's natively built into Twitter, so you actually can keep the conversation going. So I'm glad to see this and hope to participate more. I think my closing remarks will be, I guess, along the same lines as what I was saying earlier. I think NFTs are going to be a really interesting part of the long-term blockchain universe and relevant to cryptocurrency. I don't think the next period of time is going to be the right time to get in. I think we're definitely at a top or the beginning of a bust, and especially any of these centralized projects like some of the ones I was mentioning earlier, affiliated with sports cards, leagues. I think be really dubious of those unless you're comfortable doing it as a fan, as a legitimate collectible that's not for financial value, or at least not primarily for financial value. And I'm really confident in my Bitcoin holdings. I continue to add. I tweeted a couple of times in the last few weeks that I added a lot right around 48K and 53K, and I think at 52K also. So up a little bit from there. But even if we dip back down a little bit, I'm very comfortable that I don't think in the very long view I'll be regretting that. And other than that, most of my research is going into and thought process is going into what's going on in some of the DeFi platforms. I mentioned earlier that I'm investing in Uni and Sushi quite a bit, the actual tokens, as well as exploring what's on those platforms. And then, I think the parting advice will be try to focus on technologies that are going to be world changing here. We know the importance of digital marketing, so think about basic attention token, BAT. We know the importance of cloud computing, so think about Filecoin. Tokenizing things that are actually valuable technology and actual valuable, services, I think is going to be something more interesting than the lottery that's going on with altcoins right now. So I hope everyone also, on top of enjoying playing with the doggy tokens, finds some projects that they're excited about the technology with. But I'll leave it there and hope that I can continue to connect with a lot of you.
Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate you coming on for the first one. Hopefully, we'll have you on more of these calls. Before I go to you, Dave, Twitter, you have a question?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, I guess for anyone in here, or I guess for the speakers in here, anyone that owns, I just had a question for the people that own Dogecoin. When do you plan on selling your dog money?
David, I know you have some.
Well, I don't have very much of it. It's like 250 of them, which I never bought any more of it. I've had it for years. But I actually am thinking I was thinking I should just, when it goes up, I almost sold it over the weekend, but then it crashed after Musk went on SNL. But I was thinking if I could get, like $200 out of it because it cost me nothing, that would be $200 in my pocket. So I keep an eye on it, but I'm not looking to hold that for any kind of long term.
Yeah, I have. Oh, sorry.
You go, Wolf. You go, Wolf. I'll go ahead.
I have 2,500 Dogecoin, and to me, it's just like it's a thrill, man. Like I'm not really trying to like just make money off of it right now. And also, I had 40,000 at like a cent and I sold it at 5 cents. And if I had just maybe waited 3 months, I would have made a lot more money. And to me, it's like, okay, so maybe this is at 45 cents now and maybe it drops down to 30 or whatever, but I'm gonna hold it for a few months and see what happens because there was such a smaller community in my perspective before this last run up. And, we saw it come back. We saw it come roaring back and come flying up. And to me, it's like, why don't I just hold? It's a few thousand coins. It's valued at a little bit over a grand. It's not money that I need this second. I can lose it. I don't think it's going to zero, but even if I lost 50% of it, oh no, okay, that sucks. But like, I'm gonna hold it for a while. I don't really have um, a price target or anything like that on it right now. It's kind of a thrill, and to be honest, I really do enjoy being part of the community. And like a lot of people have joined, with my following because they're big fans of it, and I like talking about it. So might as well, continue with it. Like there's a lot of fun people to be around. I've gotten, countless DMs with questions and friends and just stuff like that. So, it doesn't seem to be anything harmful surrounding it right now. So why not? Stock market news, you had something?
Yeah, so where I'm at with it, pretty much I was lucky enough to buy in at that 1 cent, 3 cent mark and hold it. And then only really started selling once it, picked up a lot more. Like the majority of my sales were around in the 50, 60, 70 cent range. So where I'm at is I recovered around 6 to 7x my initial investment. Really, now I'm already playing with the house's money and I've been paid to do it. So my plans are to hold if it keeps going down and just kind of let it sit there and forget about it for however long, see what happens in the future. I've done that in crypto in the past, and it worked with me for Binance Coin. I bought it back at $10 to pay some lower fees on Binance in like 2017, 2018, and now that shot up. So I've taken off a lot of my risk on Dogecoin. I won't sit here and say that I believe in it to the level that I do Ethereum and Bitcoin because it's not even close. Especially Ethereum, it's not even close how much I believe in them compared to Dogecoin. But yeah, so if the next time I would be selling is if we broke above zero point 0.6, back to all-time highs, I'll be selling. I do plan to continue to hold it no matter what price it goes to. We'll have a certain amount, let's say like 25% my initial investment, if it shot up to $5. But I definitely plan to hold, and that's only because I've been able to already make and confirm. And I think that's the key word is I've already confirmed my profit. You don't make the profit until you hit sell. I've sold, I confirmed my profit, and now I'm chilling without risk.
Yeah, I agree. I'm all on profit as well. I did take my profit too early. I took it at like 19 and 25 and around there, but I did keep a good amount. So I agree with you, right? Taking the profit to me, it's always nice. Like you take the profit, and you're just playing with, like you said, the house money, and yeah, then you just run with it. Totally agree. Any other thoughts on that, Twitter?
Yeah, I mean, I would agree with that. I mean, I already sold mine, so whatever you guys do, you
Right.
guys do. As long as you guys are making your cash, that's up to you
Yeah.
guys.
Hipster, you had something?
So meant all of us. I forgot there was someone with the Twitter handle. I was just gonna say, first of all, Wolf. Wolf is in the dog family, so it makes sense that you would have to own at least some of Dogecoin. You know what I mean? But same space as everybody else. I got in for like $20, and it's worth almost a grand now. So why sell it? To your point, there's been so much energy around it. Both times it's pumped. I'd hate to miss out on it. So if anything, make a little bit of money and just being curious to see what it does.
Yeah, pretty much my thoughts exactly. I've been sitting around like I have friends. My friends were chatting with me about Dogecoin last year, really in December when it was under a cent. It was at 0.008, I believe. And that's when I first bought Dogecoin for like $20, right? Like, and if I had just held that initial investment, it would have been crazy. But like I started like playing around with it a few days later. It was like down $2. I was like, oh, let me sell half. Like, I don't know. But my friends have been holding. I have a friend in law school who was up $90,000 on Dogecoin just last week. I'm sure it's down a little bit now because it's, fell like 40%. So RIP, but I'm sure he's not selling any. He's very much holding. I also have other friends that took profit at like $45 where they made like 17, 20 grand. And when my friend told me, he was like, I was like, so what about the rest of these? Like, listen, like I held 3 months and it did this. What's another 3 months? What's another year? Like, are we in a rush or something? Like, what are you buying right now that you need the money for? I was like, it's a good point. Like, I have safe assets. I have, I use a outlet finance. It's a 9% APY savings account. It's very safe in my opinion. I have my crypto investments elsewhere. I have my growth portfolio. I have OTCs. I have a couple value stocks. Why can't I put, $1,500 in a Doge and maybe that turns into 10 grand someday? Like, I don't know. I just don't have anything against it. And also for me, so much of investing is the thrill. Like I get from this. That's such a large reason. And maybe it's not a good one, but like there's a thrill to it, to watching the money move and to being excited and to not always knowing what's going to happen, but knowing that I have my safeguards in place. Hunter, you got something?
Yeah, super quick. Yeah, I think you guys have brought up great points about Doge, and I mean the moral of the story I feel like is just you never know. Like you never know, who would have thought that one of the richest men in the world, Elon, is talking about a junk crypto a few years ago, and the market cap has absolutely exploded, and it's all about having a good time and taking profits. And I think it's great to play around with the meme coins, whatever you want to call them, as long as you allocate responsibly. And I just had to share something super quick too. Is my dad last month, my father, put in $700 into SHIB. I'm not sure if you guys have been hearing about the new
Yeah.
one. And basically, he took profits at 25 grand. And if he held just 3 weeks later, his $730 would have been worth $475,000. So he's a little upset. I'm a little upset, but moral of the story is allocate funds if you're gonna mess around with those meme coins, and have some diamond hands, and you never know what's gonna happen.
I'd like to throw this in there quickly. It's much better to be upset with 25K in your pocket than to be upset with your SHIB coin at absolutely zero. So as
That's
much as it
very
sucks
true.
where it's at, yeah, you still took some stuff, and it's 25K richer.
For
All
sure.
right. So Dave, bring us home. Closing remarks and lessons from the master.
Well, one of the things this discussion shows to me is that there's a lot of stuff out there. There's a lot of different kinds of cryptos. There's a lot of diversity in it, and you don't know which one. I mean, it's still way early. I mean, people talk about this all the time. Bitcoin's 10 years old, but it's still early times for crypto. There's still so much to come. So much innovation is happening. And so if you're looking to invest in it, I mean, it depends on what you're looking for. Doge, it's a fun thing. Invest some money, and I absolutely endorse the idea that if it goes up a bunch, take some money off the table. You don't have to sell all of it. Just get your money back. So now that you're playing with the house money, it's a great strategy, not just for crypto, but for the stock market too. And then other than that, look at these other things. I mean, Bitcoin is the store of value. You probably want to have something in Bitcoin. Ethereum is a smart platform play, but there's other ones. And you probably want to spread some money around to a lot of these different platforms because you're not sure which one is going to prevail. In fact, I think what's most likely in that area is that Ethereum will probably continue to dominate, and all these other ones, Polkadot and Cardano and Solana, they'll probably all have niches, and they all may all be successful. I mean, you may end up with a bunch of winners. I think it's a great thing to be watching because it's so new, and we're watching it all develop right in front of our eyes. Yeah, there's a lot of other things too. Like the Oracle coins was also mentioned, like Chainlink and stuff. That's like a whole other thing. Filecoin and BAT. I mean, I actually have the Brave browser, and I earn the bat, and I don't actually spend it. I just put it back into the system because that's how it's designed. It's all very fascinating. So the thing that I would say, and I've often put it at the bottom of my articles, is that, and this is where I think people go wrong because they get so excited, but I always say don't invest more than you can afford to lose. Because what happens is people get so excited and things go up, and they keep putting more and more money in, and they take money out of other things, other investments they may have, and they take money that was allocated for something that they needed, something they were going to buy, like a car or whatever it might be, and they end up pouring it into crypto thinking they're going to get rich. And then when the price goes down, and you never know when that's going to happen, you know, a crash can happen at any time. It can go down 20% or 40% or 80%, which is what happened back in 2018. A lot of the coins went down that much. So yeah, you just want to only put in enough money that you can really risk. You know, you got to be very mindful of that. I think it's one of the biggest things that people, even if they know it intellectually, the emotion gets a hold of them, and they end up doing what they shouldn't anyways. So
don't buy on margin.
Yeah. Oh yeah, don't use leverage. Whatever you do.
Absolutely. I think that's strong takeaway. So thank you everybody who joined as both a speaker and a listener. Also, thank you for 9K. That just happened. So really appreciate y'all for that. And I just can't wait to continue doing these spaces and continue to see where crypto goes. It's a booming space. I really do believe that we're still in the beginning of it. I hope that, throughout our lifetimes, it's kind of like we moved from cash to credit cards, and now we have the ability to pay for things with crypto, and it just becomes bigger and bigger. So I know Twitter Investors is going to be doing a crypto space tomorrow. I'm sure he'll be doing stuff tonight, so make sure you're checking him out. Dave is, as always, my guru for all things crypto. Dave, I hope, well, at some point I'll have you back on a space. Stock Market News and I are planning one for this weekend. And everyone else up here, you should really check them out. Hipster and Business, we've done podcasts together, a bunch of stuff. And Hunter, appreciate you joining. So this space was recorded, as always, by Josh Meltzer, who's here in the crowd. Thank you, Josh, one of my analysts at Wolf. And hopefully I'll post it in the next couple of days. So if you're interested in watching a replay, you can check out my pinned tweet for my Spotify and my YouTube, where I post all of the replays. All right. Thank you to all my speakers. Have a fantastic rest of your evenings.